Hello, this is Lingua Pal Scott Frog, this channel where we make English grammar a little bit easier. In this video, we're going to be looking at the present simple. Sounds simple? Of course it is. So present simple. What's it for? What does it look like? We'll also look at some frequency adverbs, get some practice. So let's go. First of all, what is the present simple? Well, it's the base form of the verb. For example, I write history books. Write, to write, write, base form. That said, be careful with she, he, it, third person singular if you like. We add an S or ES. Like for example, he goes to university every week. Now let's look at the form. We've got the subject, I, you, she, he, it, we, you, they. Like I said, base form of the verb, but careful with the S of the third person singular. And then you have it. I, you, we, you, they eat nuts. She, he, it eats nuts. Then you have the negative. And in the negative, you just add don't or doesn't for the third person singular. That's about it. Now, quick look at the question form. Do you eat meat? Or does he eat fish? Does. Before we go on, I'd like to have a look at the third person singular in the present simple and the rules. When you have verbs that end with S or X or Z, CH, SH or O, you need to add ES, like pass becomes passes, fix becomes fixes, buzz becomes buzzes, watch becomes watches, and so on. Another thing to be careful with are the verbs ending in Y. If you have a verb ending in Y after a consonant, and the Y comes after the consonant, then you add IES. The Y turns into an I. Like in try becomes tries. IES. Study becomes studies. Fly becomes flies. And the same goes with butterfly. It's not a verb, but it follows the same rule. Butterfly, butterflies. Huh. Now Y after a vowel. Play, plays. No E, no I. You just add an S and that's it. Enjoy, enjoys. Now remember also the auxiliary. Be, have, and do. Be, well, it's completely different. You have is, you have am in the first person singular, are for the others. So that's a bit different too. Have and has, do and does. And now, what about the uses? Some of the uses? Why do we use? You have commonly the regular habits and routines. Well, we use it to talk about regular habits and unchanging situations. General truths and feelings, scientific facts, instructions. States or unchanging situations, similar to scientific opinions, facts, feelings, and cultural and social facts. There's plenty instructions more and directions, about it, but those timeless rules or laws, and we're going to have a look at social facts. Now, what about the uses? Let's have some examples. Why do we use the regular habits and routines? For example, we use it. Sophie brushes her regular habits and routines. Or Maryland general goes to the gym 3 scientific facts. States or unchanging general truths and facts, opinions, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Instructions and directions, ice, timeless rules or laws, and water cultural and social facts. Let's have some examples. Permanent states or unchanging situations. For example, Thomas works her teeth every morning as a mechanic. Or he doesn't work as a baker. Or no. Lives general in Bandung, and she doesn't live in Jakarta. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Opinion, feelings, and personal characteristics. 0 degrees. Sonia loves the violin. At 0 degrees. He has brown hair. I believe in honesty. Permanent states or unchanging situations. Instructions. Thomas works and directions. So as a mechanic first. He doesn't work as a baker. Or no, lives in Bandung. She doesn't live in Jakarta.
You cook the
opinion,
soup
feelings,
slowly.
and personal characteristics.
Don't stir too fast.
Sonia loves the violin. Instructions and directions again, but this time directions.
You turn left at the traffic
Instructions
lights.
and
You walk
directions. So
straight for
instructions
2
first.
minutes. You
You
follow the
lift
signs
the
to the
lid very
hospital.
carefully. You add the onions and carrots. You cook the
And now
soup
for timeless
slowly.
rules or laws.
Don't stir too
A
fast.
triangle has 3 sides. Instructions
plus
and
3
directions
equals
again,
5.
but this time directions. And now
You turn
lastly,
left at the
cultural
traffic
and social
lights.
facts.
You
In
walk
most
straight
countries,
for
people
2
shake hands
minutes.
when they meet.
You follow the
And
signs
in
to
many
the
countries,
hospital.
school starts at 8 a.m. We often use adverbs of frequency, and now for
when
timeless
using the
rules
present
or laws,
simple,
not always,
a triangle
but often.
has 3
And we
sides.
have 2 categories
2 plus
of
3
adverbs of
equals
frequency:
5.
the definite and
the
now lastly,
indefinite.
cultural and social facts.
Here are some
In most
examples
countries,
of
people
indefinite
shake hands when they meet.
adverbs of frequency.
And in many countries,
Almost
school
never,
starts at 8 a.m.
rarely, sometimes.
We often use
often,
adverbs
hardly.
of frequency when using the
Never.
present simple, not always, but often. And we have
And
2
here is an
categories
overview
of adverbs
of what they
frequency:
mean.
the
From
definite
the 0%
and the
never
indefinite.
to the 100%
Here
always.
are some examples of indefinite adverbs of frequency.
Almost
I
never,
also wanted to
rarely,
mention the
sometimes,
position of an
often,
indefinite
hardly.
adverb of frequency in the sentence.
Never.
We put them in front of
And
the
here
verb,
is an overview
except
of what they
with
mean.
me. Like here,
From
for
the
example,
0%
I
never
always
to the
start
100%
work at 6
always.
a.m. And I am
I also wanted to
never
mention
the position of
Now
an
let's have some
indefinite
examples of
adverb
how
of
we use
frequency in
the
the
adverbs of
sentence.
frequency.
We put them in front of the verb.
We usually
Except
walk
with
the
me.
dogs in
Like
the
here, for
park.
example, I always start work at 6 a.m. and I am never.
I sometimes watch films.
Now
on
let's
my
have some
laptop.
examples on how we use the adverbs of frequency. They rarely eat fast food
We usually
because
walk
they
the
like
dogs
cooking.
in the park.
Now let's look at the definite adverbs of
I
frequency.
sometimes
And
watch
also
films on
adverbial
my laptop.
phrases of frequency, because not all
They
of them
rarely
are
eat
just
one
fast
word,
food.
because
They're
they
little
like
phrases
cooking.
because there's more than one word.
Now let's look at the
Those
definite
adverbs of frequency,
adverbs of
are more
frequency.
precise,
And
in
also
that they give
adverbial
us specific
phrases of
frequency,
frequency,
because
timing,
not all
if
of
you
them
like.
are just one
For
word.
example, daily,
They're little phrases
every day,
because there's more
weekly,
than one word.
or every Tuesday,
Those adverbs of frequency
or every
are
afternoon,
more
or
precise
twice
in
a
that
week,
they give us
or
specific
bi-weekly,
frequency,
which means
timing,
the exact
if you
same
like.
thing, and so
For
on.
example, daily, every day, weekly,
And as
or
for
every
where to put them in
Tuesday,
a sentence,
or every
well,
afternoon,
those ones,
or
they will go at
twice
the
a
end.
week, or bi-weekly.
For
which
example,
means the
Brian
exact same
checks
thing,
his
and so
emails
on.
daily.
Or Brian checks his emails
And as for
every
where
day.
to put them in the sentence,
So let's
well,
have
those
some
ones,
examples.
they will go at the end.
We have meetings
For example,
twice a
Brian
week.
checks his emails daily.
Alice
Or Brian checks his
visits her
emails
grandparents every other Tuesday.
So let's have some examples.
Or
We have
Sally gives
meetings twice a week.
presentations bi-monthly.
Alice
or twice a month.
visits her grandparents
Now you try.
every other Tuesday.
In the gaps, many
Or
adverbs of
Sally gives
frequency can fit.
presentations
bi-monthly.
so you can choose
or
the ones
twice
you
a
want,
month.
but they
Now
need
you
to
try.
make sense.
In the gaps, many
What I
adverbs
mean
of
by
frequency
makes
can
sense,
fit.
so
For
you
example,
can choose the ones you
they
want,
go on holiday,
but they need to make
every
sense.
year, twice a year, every
What
July,
I mean by
every other
makes
year,
sense,
annually. That
for
makes
example,
sense. But if
they
you
go on
said
holiday
they go on holiday every day,
twice a
twice
year,
a week,
every
every
July,
Monday,
every other year,
every other
annually,
afternoon,
that makes sense.
monthly.
But if you
it doesn't
said
make
they
a lot
go
of
on holiday
sense.
every day, twice a
And
week,
another quick
every
example,
Monday,
they
every other
go
afternoon,
on holiday, so
monthly.
you can say they never
It doesn't
go on
make a lot of
holiday,
sense.
They often go on holiday. They sometimes,
And another quick
rarely, and so
example,
on. But careful
they
with usually.
go on holiday,
Usually
so
you
you
need
can
a
say they never
context.
go on
Like
holiday,
they
they
usually
often
go on holiday
in summer.
sometimes, rarely,
But you
and
can
so on.
say the sentence,
But careful
they
with
usually go on
usually.
holiday
Usually you
in
need a
response to a
context,
question like,
oh,
they usually go
where
on
are your
holiday in
neighbours?
summer.
Well, they usually
But
go
you
on
can
holiday
say
in
the
summer.
sentence, they
Oh, I
usually
see.
go on holiday
He
in
takes
response
his
to a
medicine.
question like, oh, where are your neighbours? Well, they usually go on holiday in summer. Oh, I see. He takes his medicine twice a day, daily, once a day, three times a day,
he takes his medicine
5 times a
twice
week,
a day,
that still makes
daily,
sense.
once a day, 3 times a day,
Or
5 times a week.
that still makes sense.
Goes to bed before 10 p.m.
Or Ian
Be back.
goes to bed before 10 p.m.
I'll
Well,
be
you could
back.
say, Ian
Well, you could
always goes to bed before 10 p.m. Or
goes to
never
bed before 10
goes
p.m.
to bed
or
before 10 p.m.
never
Seldom
goes to bed before
rarely,
10 p.m.
Up to you.
Seldom, rarely,
Up to you.
I'm
Up here.
I'm tired after a long day at work. Tired after a long day at work.
Here up to you. You could use
Here up
always,
to you.
usually,
You could use
often,
always,
just as long as you
usually,
remember
often,
to put
just
it
as long
after
as you
the verb
remember
be,
to put it
I,
after the verb be.
am,
I,
always,
often,
tired
always,
after a long day
often
at work.
tired after a long day at work.
And the last one.
And the last one.
Drink
I-
milk in my coffee. Drink milk in my coffee.
Well, it depends if you talk about yourself or you talk about me. I can tell you now, it's never. I never drink milk with my coffee. How about you?
So that's it. To recap, we use the present simple to talk about things that are always true and facts, regular habits, and we often use them with adverbs of frequency. Not always, but sometimes, often, usually. And it's also the base form of the verb, and with s and es in the third person singular. She, he, it, as in eats, drinks, works, sings, with the spelling rules, does, goes, watches, studies. So that's it for today. As usual, there are PDFs in the description below. Check out my other videos on the present simple, different uses, and the present simple continuous. In the meantime, like, subscribe, share, and click the notification button. So bye-bye for now, and thank you for watching.